Good evening everyone. I am Mariyas Soaps studying 8th semester BBLLB Honours at School of Legal Studies, Couture. And today I am honored to present a hypothetical legal case titled Couture Elite vs. Chic Nova, which explores the tension between trademark protection, fair market competition and regulatory intervention, especially within the luxury fashion industry. And moving on to the introduction, in today's luxury market, brand entity is everything. The hypothetical case of Couture Elite versus Elite Nova raises two major concerns: whether Chic Nova's design amounts to willful trademark infringement and whether a regulatory authority overstepped by imposing sanctions without due process. And we will delve into how these issues challenge constitutional principles like natural justice and fair procedure while evaluating the role of regulatory bodies in IP enforcement. And moving to the case background, let's look at the parties involved. First comes Couture Elite. Couture Elite is a globally respected luxury brand known for its exclusively designs and distinctive monograms. And Chic Nova is an emerging fashion label offering inspired pieces that critics argue mimic top luxury brands. The conflict arose when Couture Elite finds Chic Nova marketing leather accessories with nearly identical design elements, suggesting intentional copying and triggering legal action. And now let's look to the timeline of events. So first comes discovery and investigation. And Couture Elite's legal team identified striking design overlaps. And second comes legal notices. So they issued a cease and desist notice to Chic Nova. And next is regulatory intervention. A regulatory agency ordered Chic Nova to stop sales without offering a hearing. And next is judicial proceedings. Chic Nova challenged the action on grounds of procedural unfairness. And this chain of events frame both legal and ethical issues contrary to the dispute. And next, moving on to the key legal issues at stake. First comes trademark infringement. So is there a likelihood of confusion or dilution? And next is fair use. Is Chic Nova's design defensible as artistic inspiration? And next is procedural fairness. Was Chic Nova denied a chance to defend itself? And next comes proportionality. Was a complete ban justified or was it excessive? These issues force courts to balance IP protection with individual and commercial rights. And now moving on to arguments of Couture Elite. Couture Elite presented that evidence of willful imitation, that is forensic comparisons proved nearly identical design elements and brand dilution. Even without consumer confusion, copying dilutes brands exclusively. And next comes justification of regulatory action. Couture Elite emphasized Chic Nova's history of past warnings, suggesting the action was necessary to prevent repeat offenses. This position was that robust enforcement was vital to determine counterfeit culture. And next comes Chic Nova's arguments. So first coming to the fair use defense, that is their design was inspired by current trends but adjusted sufficiently to be original. And next comes violation of natural justice. No opportunity to present their side before the regulatory order. And next is calls for balanced remedy. They propose design changes instead of a total ban. And next is allegation of overreach. They argue that regulator acted without full investigation on legal basis. And now we can see the court's judgment and reasoning. The court ruled that evidence of infringement, strong similarities confirmed willful imitation. And next is violation of due process. The regulator failed to provide notice or a hearing, breaching natural justice. And next comes balanced remedy. Instead of an outright ban, the court ordered Chic Nova to revise its design, allowing operations under court oversight. And next we have a comparative analysis with Kerala High Court judgment. A parallel case from Kerala High Court. And that facts are Wipro alleged that Chandra soap infringed on their Chandrika trademark. And what was the outcome is that the court held that when both parties have registered marks, infringement action isn't sustainable. Only rectification or cancellation is allowed. And on passing off, Wipro failed to show tangible damage, thus relief was denied. And moving on to the Next slide, that is implications and future directions. So first implication is that we have to implement stronger IP protection for luxury brands and enhance due process, making regulators more accountable. And next is support for competitive innovation, that is through nuanced remedies like conditional injunctions. And next comes policy reforms likely to follow in administrative practices, balancing enforcement and fairness. And now we will move on to the conclusion and key takeaways. So in closing, the Couture Elite versus Chic Nova case is a timely reminder of how courts must protect creative investments and brand equity, ensure that enforcement doesn't override procedural fairness, promote innovation without encouraging copycat behavior. This case could shape how IP law evolves in sectors where design, branding and identity are everything. Thank you for your attention and time. That comes to the conclusion of my presentation. Thank you.